Allow your spirit to awaken as this divine message pours forth, guiding you into the light of eternal grace. Someone discovering your nice side is a huge cover-up, chosen ones, and what's going to happen is going to be very epic. Your sweetness isn't a sign of weakness. Rather, it's a calculated disguise for something so strong, so refined by fire, and so untouchable that they will realize they never had a chance when they eventually see the true you. You weren't born with the ability to conceal deadly strength behind kind smiles. God made your heart to function that way, so you were truly, brilliantly, marvelously sweet. You entered this world with your arms extended, prepared to love everyone with all of your might. You were that youngster who imagined everyone had the same pure heart that beat in your chest, who gave out their lunch money to kids who forgot their own and who wept when other kids were harmed. Sometimes you literally felt other people's grief as if it were your own, and your empathy was so intense that it hurt your body. Before you even realized what that meant, you devoted your entire life to God. You expressed regret for actions you hadn't yet taken. With the eagerness of someone who has discovered their missing piece, you took Jesus into your heart and embarked on an amazing spiritual transformation trip that would shape you into something the world had never seen before. Back then, your sweetness was a sign of heavenly love flowing through you like water through a broken dam, not a tactic. Even if you wanted to turn it off, you couldn't. You gave until you had nothing left, and then you discovered a way to give even more. The person you are about to destroy spiritually is completely unaware that they are interacting with someone whose nature was so pure in the first place. They believe that being sweet equates to being foolish. Kindness is interpreted by them as weakness. They believe you are easy target because of your nice nature. They are going to realize how terribly mistaken they are. After witnessing your beautiful innocence, the world concluded that it had to be destroyed. This was methodical, well-coordinated, unrelenting spiritual warfare intended to totally destroy who you were destined to be. It wasn't just challenging life events or typical growing pains. Teachers who promised to mentor you instead attempted to break your spirit. Friends who you trusted with your most private secrets turned them into weapons against you. Family members who should have been your protectors turned into your main tormentors. And the very institutions that claimed to provide safety turned into your prisons. Your entire neurological system rewired itself for survival because you were struck so severely, so frequently, and from so many different directions. In order to assist you in navigating ongoing danger, your brain essentially modified its structure. A few of you were very close to death, literally, not figuratively. You were forced to the point when all would have ended with one more deception, one more pain, or one last crushing blow. The darkness you had to traverse was so total that it changed your DNA at its core. It altered the way you interpret people, absorb information, and react to danger. You developed the ability to kill or perish, and you discovered how to always and without hesitation choose survival. If you feel the divine love, now is the time to share. Click the super thank you button on YouTube to contribute $50 or more and help us spread God's blessings. What you do is being watched and serves as a seed, and in the future it will come back to you a millionfold. The individuals who subjected you to this torturous training were unaware that they were truly preparing you for the greatest levels of spiritual combat. They believed they were reducing you to manageable parts, but in reality, they were transforming you into something indestructible, capable of withstanding stresses that would cause ordinary people to melt. The individual currently scheming against you, meanwhile, had a privileged, protected life where they learnt playground-level emotional games and amateur manipulation techniques. They became experts at exploiting those who hadn't been put to the test by true darkness. They are about to receive a lesson, but they have no concept what true darkness looks like. Not only did God deliver you from horrible circumstances, but He also planned the most amazing extraction process in the history of spirituality. The enemy turned every pit you were thrown into a training field. Every dying valley you traversed turned into a classroom. Every time hope appeared to be lost, there was a chance for divine intervention. God had to remove everything that wasn't truly you while keeping the clean heart that made you valuable in the first place. This wasn't a slow, delicate cure. Rather, it was extensive spiritual surgery. He had to eliminate trauma layers without compromising your essential self. Without taking away your warrior impulses, he had to mend your wounds. You appear to be a magnificent eagle soaring above every storm that attempted to ground you right now in the spiritual realm. People working in the dark are actually blinded by your energy, since it has been refined and purified by fire. In ways that most people never encounter in their lives, you are free. People who need to control others in order to feel secure about themselves are terrified by your independence. You may now take others to safety thanks to your great wings, but they can also produce windstorms that drive predators from the skies. When protection is needed, you can both soar above the mayhem and be prepared to plunge down with deadly accuracy. The person who has been observing you from the shadows is able to sense the amazing power emanating from you, which is precisely why they wish to seize it, imprison it, and take everything of value out of it for their own gain. They want to shackle you when they see how free you are. When people realize how independent you are, they want to take control. They want to take advantage of your strength after seeing it. This is where the narrative becomes really interesting. You've come to a point in your healing process where you feel totally at ease, displaying your lovely side once more. This isn't because you've lost your sense of self or forgotten the lessons that suffering taught you, but rather because you've turned every difficult event into pure wisdom. Now that you know exactly what you're capable of, you can afford to be gentle. You know just how to pull back kindness when it is being abused, so you may show it freely when gentleness fails. Because you have perfected the skill of justice, you are able to extend mercy. Now, your sweetness is the ideal disguise for the fighter you have become. You become the most truly loving person that most people have ever met in their lives when you are being polite and amiable. Your warmth disarms everyone around you because it is so genuine, pure, and radiant. Only those who have endured hell with a smile and emerged radiant are eligible to join the Obsidian Inner Order. You came here to remember who you are, and we remember with you, not to win people over. This is a war room for the spiritual elite, a headquarters for people who bend reality, skip timelines, and break curses. It is not a community. Weekly Zoom calls feature live frequency upgrades during which the curtain lifts and dragons speak codes that unlock. Why will you get access to exclusive downloads, cutting-edge technologies, and antiquated communications that were never intended for the general public? Since most individuals can't manage what you have within of them, let's face it. You revive rather than heal. You take back. You rule. If you're ready to join the anointed and are sick of superficial nonsense, click the link in the description. After then, you become the source in the Obsidian Inner Order. At that point, the spiritual predators begin to circle around what they perceive to be fresh prey, just like vultures do. Their deranged brains instantly begin to calculate how much I can take before they realize when they witness this excessive kindness. How much longer can I take advantage of this? How can I set myself up to get the most out of this extraordinarily giving individual? They are unaware that your sweetness is now entirely calculated. Every kind remark, smile, and polite reply comes from someone who has endured experiences that might have devastated them forever. Being kind is something you choose to do, and you may stop choosing to do so the instant it becomes required. You are not being kind because you don't know any better. Your softness is strength under perfect control, not weakness. Your patience is wisdom waiting for the ideal opportunity to act, not stupidity. Right now, someone has been observing you closely, much like a predator examines its victim. They're making notes in their minds every morning when you wake up with that sincere smile. Strangers are planning how they might take advantage of your generosity when you hold the door open for them. Your coworkers are cataloging your empathy as a vulnerability they can take advantage of when you listen to their troubles for the third time this week. When you're assisting someone else, you always seem to run across that person. They have been keeping track of these instances, observing how your countenance brightens when you are helping others. They're thinking in their deranged minds, jackpot, after witnessing you donate your lunch to someone who forgot their own. Every time you forgive someone who has wronged you, they have been observing from the sidelines and taking notes about your boundaries, or what they believe to be your total lack of them. This person will give me anything I ask for. This person filed that information away as evidence that you're a pushover who will put up with unending abuse from anyone who knows how to set off the correct triggers, because you gave that pal another chance after they abused your trust. Brother, whatever is done in faith is returned in God's abundance. You can donate $100 using the Super Thank You button and be part of this divine call. If your roots are connected to Him, your fruit will be blessed. They are now refining their strategy and creating the most heartbreaking, soul-crushing, exquisitely crafted sob narrative that is customized to your individuality. They will pretend to be the most worthy victim you have ever seen because they know you can't aid someone who is truly in need. You will learn about their dreadful upbringing, recent tragic loss, and current predicament, which only someone as generous and compassionate as you could possibly comprehend. They will give you the impression that you are the only one who can rescue them from their meticulously manufactured hopelessness, and that no one else in the world really understands them. And because that's who you are and what you do, you will want to aid them with your lovely, trusting heart. When someone is in pain, you also feel their pain. You can't sleep at night knowing that someone is having difficulties when they need aid. We didn't take my chosen one through hell and back, refine them in the furnace of affliction, or turn them into a spiritual warrior so that some amateur manipulator could waltz in and take everything they've earned. God is watching this whole situation unfold from His throne room, and His response is instantaneous, absolute, and terrifyingly protective. Absolutely not. You see, that individual didn't just happen to cross your path by accident or bad luck. They were sent there by divine appointment, not to steal from you, but to learn for the rest of their lives what happens when someone interprets the kindness of a spiritual fighter as weakness. You are in their lives to show them that there is another way to live, one in which you can obtain what you need without stealing, coercing, or taking advantage of others, because God provides for everyone who fully gives their lives to Him. They're going to see what true freedom looks like when someone has truly surrendered their entire life to God. Because they are pursuing God and allowing material blessings to follow them instead, they will see someone who doesn't chase material things. However, they must first understand that your sweetness has limitations that cannot be tried, boundaries that cannot be crossed, and consequences that cannot be avoided. You've been operating covertly from a position of spiritual authority that exists in levels they can't even comprehend, while they've been planning, scheming, and conspiring. You've acquired superhuman skills that can only be obtained via enduring severe hardship. You have survival instincts that were practically hammered into your awareness by experience, not magical abilities, that allow you to read people's true intentions within minutes of meeting them. Your spirit is able to identify the energy signature of deceit, so you can sense manipulation before it is even spoken. Because your traumatized nervous system detects voice patterns and micro-expressions that normal people miss entirely, you may sense a change in the environment when someone is about to lie to you. You may quickly and totally cut off contact with people, not because you're cold or callous, but rather because you've come to realize that having an emotional bond with someone who wants to hurt you is a luxury you cannot afford. It's possible to shut someone out of your life so completely that you don't feel guilty, second-guess yourself, or look back. When circumstances call for it, you may become quite cold, not because you've lost your ability to be warm, but rather because you've come to understand that warmth is a valuable gift that should be bestowed upon those who deserve it, not a weakness that should be taken advantage of by others who don't. Above all, you are capable of fighting, not only physically, but also emotionally, psychologically, and strategically. They are unaware of the kind of combat you have been trained in. You can use weaponry they can't see, tactics they can't comprehend, and fight on levels they can't access. You resemble a martial arts expert who appears to be at rest until the first blow is delivered. The moment of breakthrough is drawing near quickly. The individual who has been lining up to exploit your generosity will do something that fully exposes their actual motivations. Just enough of their disguise will be removed so you can see who they truly are and what they have been plotting to do to you. Everything changes in the span of a single heartbeat when that moment comes. You'll be able to see them clearly, understand not just what they're doing, but also why, how long they've been preparing, and what they specifically meant to take from you. You will understand that this individual has to be examined right away and with decisiveness, and you will approach the situation with the same level of accuracy as a spiritual surgeon excising a malignant tumor. And the most exquisite aspect, for the first time, they will see the true you. They will realize right away that their little amateur game is done after you give them one look without the cute disguise. Their entire world will tilt off its axis and fall into a reality they weren't ready for the moment you let go of your kind manner and let them see who you really are. You will witness the precise moment when they realize that the one they believe to be innocent and naive has actually endured atrocities that would have destroyed their minds into innumerable irreversible fragments. You were being forged in furnaces that would have turned them to ash while they were enjoying their easy lives and learning amateur manipulation techniques. There will be a shift in your voice. You will change your posture. Your eyes will see depths they never thought possible. And all of a sudden, they will understand that every kind word you have said to them was a decision, not one of weakness, but one of mercy, from someone who could have destroyed them with a single word. You'll see them frantically trying to reinterpret every interaction they felt they had control over, every manipulation they thought was effective, and every instance in which they felt superior to you. When they discover that you have been in charge from the beginning, everything will completely change. They're going to realize that the noose is already tied, even if you've been giving them enough rope to hang themselves. Being a beacon of wealth in the dark is one of the things that makes you such an alluring prey for these predators. Your energetic signature has literally changed at the cellular level as a result of the deep spiritual shift you've undergone. Prosperity, wealth, and success are coming your way like rivers merging into the sea. You appear to be on the verge of experiencing substantial material wealth, and you are. The internal labor that generates riches on the outside has been completed by you. You have grown into a person who can handle great blessings without losing your soul. Your spiritual aura is literally covered in money. You are being drawn to opportunities. Doors that have been closed to others for decades are now opening. Even if they are unable to express their feelings, people are beginning to treat you differently because they can sense the change in your energy. The individual who is targeting you is aware that a tsunami of prosperity is approaching, and they wish to position themselves to benefit from it without having to put in the effort to produce it. They want to take credit for your accomplishments, spend your money, enjoy your success, and profit from your relationships. They view you as the key to a life they have never been prepared to strive for, give up, or get on their own. They fail to realize that the same spiritual wisdom that drew this riches is also the one that will keep parasites like them away. The most exquisite paradox in human psychology has been created by you, a heart that is both totally open and impenetrable. It is possible to have flawless emotional boundaries and love with all the passion of 1,000 suns. You can give freely and limitlessly while fully shielding oneself from abuse. You've become an expert at telling the difference between those who are merely trying to steal from you and those who deserve your heart. You can show true love to people who deserve it and be totally unaffected by people who would misuse it. With selective permeability, your heart has transformed into a fortress where the right people can enter and discover the most exquisite garden they have ever seen, while the wrong people encounter barriers they are unable to perceive, scale, penetrate, or comprehend. Since you have gained the ability to think for yourself, you are no longer a vulnerable target. You have experienced every kind of manipulation imaginable in human history. You've made it through every kind of betrayal that people can do to one another. You've been through every emotional battle that deranged brains can conjure. Entire groups of people have surrounded you and are working together to ruin you. People you trusted with your life, your secrets, and your future have deceived you. Experts who have made it their profession to take advantage of others have manipulated you. You have escaped systematic attempts to destroy your future, your hope, your reputation, and your soul. Emotionally, spiritually, financially, and socially, you've been abandoned. People who believed they had successfully destroyed you have written you off, counted you out, and rejected you. You have experienced hardships that most people would have been taken to psychiatric hospitals or worse. At this stage of your journey, you are more than just a survivor. You are a spiritual warrior who has faced challenges head-on and always come out on top. You're weaponized, not simply healed. Not only are you free, but anyone who challenges that freedom faces danger from you. The person who believes they can control you is going to find out what happens when a professional fighter and an amateur boxer enter the ring. If you want to witness God's miracles, act now. Contribute $100 or more through Super Thank You on YouTube. Your offering is like a seed that comes back to you when planted. Let His light illuminate your steps. Every donation is an echo in His plan. This person's compulsive drive to take advantage of you is actually motivated by jealousy that is so poisonous that it is physically destroying their entire being, not just greed. Your independence is visible to them and it torments them since they are aware that they lack it and are unsure of how to obtain it. They're waking up in a panic and grabbing their phone to browse social media in a frantic attempt to find affirmation that never materializes, while you're beginning your day with true serenity in your heart. While they are examining themselves in the mirror, analyzing every imperfection, every failure, and every reason why they are inadequate, you are brushing your teeth and looking forward to the day. Your liberation reflects back their own inner captivity like a mirror. While they're lying awake, filled with jealousy, planning, scheming, and figuring out their next move to try to go ahead, you go to bed at night with a clear conscience. Seeing how satisfied you are is like salt on their wounds since you've somehow managed to be truly content without having to manipulate or take from other people. They desire the current course of your life, but they are unwilling to follow the same route you used to get there. They will not perform the soul work you did, but they do want your inner serenity. They want you to be free spiritually, but they won't let go of the ego that holds them back. They desire your unwavering trust, yet they refuse to confront the anxieties and insecurities that, if addressed honestly, would truly change them. They have therefore chosen to attempt to take what you have gained rather than accomplishing what you did. You will not lose your temper, become upset, or start needless drama when the time comes to defend yourself against this person's attempt at manipulation. You will react with the cool dexterity of a surgeon excising a cancerous growth. You'll be very clear that you see precisely what they're doing, that you know exactly why they're doing it, and that you know it won't work. You will establish limits that are so unambiguous and uncompromising that they will not allow for misunderstandings, compromise, or confusion. You will accomplish this without being unnecessarily harsh, unkind, or giving them more attention than they merit. You will treat them with the same skill, effectiveness, and total control as a professional would treat an amateur. When they realize their manipulation isn't working, they will find that you're ready for them too if they try to escalate the situation, become hostile, or become threatening. You've defeated opponents who were far more dangerous than they are, and you always come out on top. You've earned every single item you own, everything you're going to have, and everything that's pouring into your life like a river of blessings by improving yourself and your relationship with God. When everyone around you was demonstrating their lack of loyalty, you stayed true. Even if every person in your life was proving they couldn't be trusted, you still had faith in God. When it would have been easy to give up and get resentful, you persisted in improving yourself. While everyone else compromised their ethics for short-term gains, you upheld yours. When some choose hate, you chose love. While some chose retaliation, you chose forgiveness. While others opted for stagnation, you chose growth. While others were investing in their own demise, you were investing in your own spiritual growth. When others were taking down their character, you were building it. While others choose to remain stupid, you chose to become wise. God will use you to humble certain people who have made exploiting those they believe to be weaker than themselves their entire identity. Some people think you'd make the ideal victim when they look at you. When they witness your generosity, they believe you won't defend yourself. They assume you don't know how to protect yourself because of your kind demeanor. They are going to discover that there is a vast difference between someone who is incapable of fighting and someone who decides to hold off on fighting until it is absolutely required. If they could see how determined you are to defend yourself and everything you've worked so hard to build, they would be shocked. You've been prepared for this type of encounter by every hardship you've encountered, and you know they want to ruin you, take advantage of you, and control you. You are no longer the same person who ignored glaring warning signs and wished for the best in everyone. You are no longer the naive person who used to justify terrible behavior. You are the type of person that sees dangers quickly and reacts with the right amount of force. You're going to demonstrate to them what happens when someone confuses patience for inactivity, compassion for foolishness, and pity for weakness. Your sweetness is only the portion of your tale that you have chosen to share with those who haven't yet shown that they deserve to see the whole picture of who you've grown into. Your generosity isn't naivete. Rather, it's a deliberate decision made by someone who is well aware of all the options. Your tenderness is power under total control, not weakness. Your patience isn't a sign of incompetence. Rather, it's the application of strategic insight by someone who understands when to act and when to wait with deadly effect. Your mercy is not a sign of weakness. Rather, it is a choice of power to exercise restraint until it becomes ineffective. The individual who believed they could take advantage of you is going to learn that they have been dealing with someone who was always 10 steps ahead of their amateur manipulation game. Someone who could have put an end to their plan on the first day, but instead allowed them to reveal their full personality. Someone who has had complete control over the situation since the day they entered your life, having watched you like a scientist examining a specimen under a microscope. You are in precisely the right place, confronting precisely the difficulties you are capable of managing with precisely the knowledge required to accomplish so. This is the pinnacle of heavenly orchestration. It is not an accident, coincidence, or error. You are truly sweet, your affection is sincere, and you are well capable of protecting both. You've transformed into the ideal fusion of a dove and a serpent, fierce as a lion when danger threatens what you cherish, wise as a serpent when wisdom is needed, and innocent as a dove when innocence is suitable. You are now thriving rather than merely surviving. You're entire, not just healed. You are powerful in addition to being free. Not only are you fortunate, but you also serve as a warning to those who don't deserve it and a blessing to those who do. Here is the revelation. The masks are falling off. After the darkest night, the truth is emerging like a daybreak. Everyone will soon discover who they have been interacting with all along. The person who believed they could control you is going to learn that your sweet side was never a vulnerability to be taken advantage of, but rather an act of kindness from someone with the strength to respond differently. There are boundaries to that mercy, and those boundaries are going to be made abundantly, conclusively, and irrevocably evident. After completing your training, surviving your testing, and winning every battle, you are a chosen one. Your kindness is a strength, not a weakness. Your generosity is your strength, not your weakness. You can choose to be gentle. It's not a limitation. Welcome, selected one, to your moment of truth. Every hardship you've encountered, every lesson you've learned, and every triumph you've achieved have equipped you for this precise circumstance. You were born for this. You're not merely prepared for it.